Hi guys, welcome back. More pellet testing today. So after the frankly disastrous performance of the Gamo Raptors, now these are the gold ones, these are a lead-free one. They're terrible really, they're incredibly hard, they ricochet very badly and they're not very accurate at all. We've just recently had the Gamo Lethals. If you haven't seen this video, I'll put a link up in the top corner here and probably in the description as well. Now, these are hideously expensive, they weren't particularly accurate, they fouled the barrel up very quickly, and I've also had quite a few people tell me now that the copper tips on these are likely to be fairly harmful to aquatic life as well. So I wasn't really going to get any more Gamos, however I saw the 10Xs, which are these ones here. These are only £6 a tin. Now these Gamo Lethals, these were £12 and 50p, something like that for 100. So these are actually 1/10 the price. They're 10 times cheaper, made out of good old-fashioned lead. And so far, having picked through the tin, they actually look pretty good. Now these are a lightweight lead pellet. These are 7.5 grains, so quite light. They've got a hollow point on these as well, so hopefully these will expand somewhat into the lead lining. We'll check that later on. At this sort of price point, they're certainly not going to be a match grade pellet. For a bit of plinking and potentially maybe some short range pest control, if they're accurate enough, then they've got to be worth a try. Certainly that price point really piqued my interest. I thought we've got to give them a go. So we're going to take the MX Catran out today. That's a multi-shot rifle and we can use it in single shot mode as well. It says on here reloading speed. Now the shape of these, they've got a fairly rounded heads. They do look like they will go through a magazine and load into a barrel pretty well. Overall though, first impressions are pretty good. We'll take the Catran out. We'll start at 25 yards. I don't think it's really worth pushing them much further than that. I can't imagine they're going to be particularly great at further ranges. The Catran itself's got a very short little CZ barrel in it, hammer forged barrel, similar I guess to the BSA barrels. We'll see how they run. I'm not entirely confident that the Catran's the best rifle to run these through. It's a little bit fussy and does have a tendency to prefer heavier weight pellets. So we're going to use it anyway. We'll see how it goes. I also feel like we really should have a go on the little biathlon target today. If we can get any performance out of these, we'll get a few knockdowns out of the biathlon target. I'll try and do some shooting in real time as well, see what happens when I load these fairly quickly through the magazine. It'd be interesting. It's a bit grey outside, it's not too nice out there, but perfect afternoon for a little shoot. So I'll get everything together and I'll see you at the farm. Right guys, we're here. It's a little bit cooler than I'd like and there's a little bit of a breeze running from right to left at the moment. Got the Catran here. At the moment we're just going to get a few shots off through the single shot loader and then we'll swap over to the magazines. It says the reloading speed's really good, so we'll try them through the magazines shortly, but we just need to get it zeroed up first. This is the card that I'm going to use. We're only going to stick to 25 yards to start with. These aren't a match pellet. They're not designed primarily for long range target shooting, so it'd be a little bit unfair to push them out too far. So we're going to come back in from 25 yards. If it all goes to plan, I've got my favourite little target here, the little biathlon one, and then I've also screwed on a 6mm reset paddle at the top of that, which I don't think we're going to be able to hit. However, we will have a little go. What I'm going to do, if it all goes to plan, zeroing this up, if there's any degree of accuracy, we're going to shoot these kneeling. I'm going to get the bipod off. I'm just going to have my little beanbag under my knee. I'm going to see if we can shoot these kneeling at 25 yards, which will be fun. So let's get stuck in. We'll see how they run, shall we? Right, we've got the little bipod out the front. I'm just going to be supporting the back end. The butt pad off of this is actually on the entrance at the moment, so I'm not going to swap them over for the minute. Got the little cards out. The GoPro's down there now. Let's get the GoPro on and see what happens. Right, so at the moment we're just going to single shot load these. And as soon as the camera goes on, the geese will kick off. I hope they're decent because they're quite cheap. They actually look all right as well. Right, GoPro's on. Just aiming for the centre of the card. Oh, that's all right. A little bit low and a little bit left. Let's just do a couple of shots there and see whether or not they actually group, although they're off centre on the actual bullseye. That one felt a little bit notchy loading, that second one. The first one felt all right. Right, those two pellet holes are all but touching, so that's a pretty good start. I can't remember what the last ammo we ran through this was. Haven't shot it for a little while, so that's a pretty good start, to be honest. Let's just get a couple more through and then we'll put some little extra marks on that card and see if we can bring it onto a fairly tight zero, shall we? Right, well, that one split the difference between the first two and the third one, so the fourth one's the one that's just a little bit below the top one. We'll keep going, we'll see if these tighten up. Hopefully it will just need to settle into the barrel and we'll be good to go. I mean, reality is these are a £6 tin of pellets. They're not a competition pellet or anything like that. So if we can get, I mean, if we can get a 1/2 inch group at 25 yards with a gentle breeze, I'll be quite happy with that for the price. I mean, they certainly look fairly well put together, and I've just realised that we're also sat in an ant's nest. Nice. Right, let's get these shot. Okay, so that one's actually gone through the same hole as one of the previous ones. That's good. Okay, I've just added a couple more aim points to the cards. I've made a quick adjustment. I've just gone 3 clicks to the right and a couple of clicks up, and these ants are everywhere. And it hasn't moved. Oh, nearly. But it has gone slightly past our aim point. Oh, there's flipping ants everywhere. Oh no, mate. Oh yeah, got it almost. Even the cockerel was impressed with that one. Right, come on ants, you've got to go, mate. Okay, so we're coming up for 10 pellets through it. They seem to be tightening up a little bit, which is a good sign. One's a little bit to the left, so a little bit scattered still. Seems to keep getting one that pulls a little bit to the left. You sort of think you're there or thereabouts, and one seems to come in a little bit left, so a bit strange. So we seem to be getting little groups. You'll get 1 or 2 through the same hole and one will drop a little bit out. Looks like probably 15 mil between the top and bottom one of that group. So a little bit of a spread. Not great, but bearing in mind they're relatively inexpensive with a hollow point as well. But picking through the tin, there was a little bit of flashing around them, not too bad. The bottom of the tin's fairly clean. Got a few little flakes on my fingertips actually off of them, but overall they certainly don't look too bad for a budget pellet. Oh, and that's gone straight through. Okay, so that's taken the dot out entirely. It'd be great if they were all like that. With the way that prices of pellets are going up, it would be nice if we've got something that's half decent for a bit of plinking, short range pest control, you know, especially at £6 a tin. That's not bad at all. Right, 2 of those have actually gone through the same hole. Come on, keep going. Please keep going. Right, less chat, more concentration. Oh, that one dropped low. Oh. This is often one of the reasons why pellets are cheap. The quality control and things just aren't as tight as they would be on a more expensive version, but that's frustrating because the first 2 from that little group were absolutely banged down that little centre dot that I'd drawn, and then that one's dropped 1/2 mil dot low. Oh, and that one gone a bit high. Oh, that one's pretty good. That's just split the right hand side of the first 2. So 3 out of 5 are exactly where you want them in a really nice tight little group, and then you've got one that's gone a bit high and one that's gone a bit low. So I wonder if there's a little bit of poor weight variation through a tin. Might be worth, if you've got some of these, sort of picking through them. Certainly for a £6 tin of pellets you don't really want to be wasting your life weighing them, but it certainly looks as if there's a size variation or a weight variation through them. The fact that you get 3 out your 5 bang on where you want, one goes high, one goes low. Okay, I've loaded that magazine up. They all loaded in there quite nicely, and looking at them pellets in the rotor itself, you can see that most of the skirts actually look pretty good. There's not really any that look dodgy, so I only had one that I found so far that's got a couple of flat sides on the skirt, so certainly not too bad so far. I'm hoping that by the time we've run this lot off, the groups will have tightened up enough to actually go and do something fun with them. However, what I'm going to do, I've just swapped the cards over, so now we've got one that's got 4 big circles in each corner, then in the very centre of the card there's a smaller crosshair. I'm going to rattle off a whole magazine as quick as I can into the centre of that card, just to see how well they actually load. They say on here that reloading speed, I mean it doesn't say 10 times reloading speed, but it says reloading speed. They've got quite an interesting head design on these. They do look like they should transfer from the magazine into a barrel quite well. There's sort of no abrupt edges or anything around the edge of the head, so hopefully they'll run quite nicely. Oh. Oh, can't get it. Right, so that's the card that we've just shot, rattling them off super quick. That's probably 30 mil, maybe something like that. This was the one that I took off the card. I didn't want to shoot it up here. I thought I'd got 2 stuck in the barrel, but obviously I hadn't, so I do need to have a quick look at the trigger, see and make sure that's engaging. But I tell you what, rattling them off as fast as that, that's pretty good. That's not too bad at all. Right, so we're here now. We've moved to the other side of the yard, got the catcher, and I've just swapped over the hamster on it, taken the bipod off. Down here at 25 yards, here's the little biathlon target, the GoPro's there. Hopefully we'll try and do this all in real time once I've got the cameras moved around. And we'll see whether or not I can hit them within a full magazine's worth, shall we? You out of the way. Down to 5 mag, get the mud off the barrel. Oh, got it. Two for 2. Three for 3. 4 for 4. Come on. Oh, I feel like I'm in a shoot off. Who needs funky editing when you can shoot like that, eh? Right, we're back. Well, that last little biathlon target, yes, I did manage to hit all of them. It was pretty much more luck than judgment. The average group size that we've got so far with these 10x pellets is 27 mil, which just actually happens to be exactly the same size as the circular holes in the biathlon target. So more luck than judgment. There was no margin for error, really. However, when you've got something that the target's the same size as your average group, you're always going to be verging on a bit of luck to actually hit them. Now, actually, the top middle one here, so the third one, that just nicked that edge there. So yes, I hit them, got a bit cocky with it, enjoyed using them, but we've got a bit to talk about, so I'm going to get the phone up in the tripod and I'll show you these targets. These are the cards we shot then, so overall not too bad considering. This is where we started. We moved them around the card as I was trying to bring it onto a 0. Now the best group that we got on average is around 27 mil, so this one's slightly larger, this one's slightly less. This was the lot where I rattled off a full magazine, bar one where I thought I'd double loaded it, which I hadn't, but in any case they loaded very well through the magazine and the single shot loader. Now I wasn't entirely confident that the Catran was going to suit these anyway. It certainly seems to prefer a heavier pellet. Now, I normally use the QYS Streamline Heavies through it, so they're a much heavier pellet. They're also exactly 3 times the price of these. The retail price on the QYSs is £18 a tin, whereas these are £6. Now, of course, the QYSs are more accurate, they hit harder, they seem to be more consistently made, but that does come at a cost. If you're shooting in your garden, if you're plinking, these have certainly got to be worth a consideration, and I'm definitely going to retest these as well through the Anschuts, so I can use them through the CZ barrel and the Walther barrel, as well as the factory Annie barrel as well. I think they're definitely worthy of that. If I can get these groups down to sort of sub 20mm for short range work, and if you're just plinking in your garden and whatever, just enjoying yourself, great. They've definitely got to be worth consideration for that price point. Being lead, of course, there's going to be no weird sort of barrel fouling like the plastic from the lethals. They don't ricochet at all, and in the back of the lead lined pellet trap, these have actually expanded really well. The hollow tips have basically turned completely inside out on themselves, so they've dumped all of that energy into my backstop. If you have got slightly smaller groups than this and you can accurately judge the wind for these, then they may well be worth considering for short range pest control too. So I'm going to grab the lead lined pellet trap and I'm going to show you what the pellet strikes look like, because they've turned completely inside out on themselves. Well, hopefully you can see down in there. We'll get some photos as well. Around the outside of the pellet skirts, you've got what look like little petals. Now that's actually the heads have completely turned back on themselves. They've dumped all of that energy into the backstop. It would certainly mean if you have a barrel that favours these, if you can get them groups down small enough for humane pest control, then they would certainly be worth considering. And again, inexpensive pellet. I nearly didn't bother with these. The experience from the lethals and the raptors was terrible, but I'm quite glad I did now. I've actually gone and ordered a couple more tins to keep in the old shooting box, just in case, for them days when you just want to go and shoot a few cans. Quite an inexpensive afternoon out then. So yeah, not quite as accurate as I'd have hoped for. As I said, I didn't necessarily think the Catran would favour them particularly well, but we will retest these. They've got nice screw top tins as well. I wish a lot more of the pellets had a screw top tin. Once you run out of these tins are nice and reusable. So overall, yeah, I'm quite happy with those. I think I'll maybe find some more of the Gamo ones in lead and see how they go. But certainly so far, even when you take one of the most budget lead pellets compared to one of the most expensive lead-free ones with the lethals, even the most budget ones are well outperforming the lead ones, and they're safer. These are not coming back at you if you've got a decent backstop, whereas even with a lead lined backstop, these ones are still a little bit sketchy. So overall, yeah, I'm pretty happy. I've ordered a few more, so job's good. And I'll catch you in the next one, guys. We've got some more cool stuff coming up. Got a load of Crossman pellets coming up as well, and we've also got some more lead free stuff, lead free JSBs, and some more slugs as well. So I'll see you in the next one.